Hi folks, it's me Michaela and welcome back to my channel. I'm here today to start a reading vlog. It's very exciting because if you have been watching my previous videos, you'd know that I have been in a reading slump. The slump has been slumping, but I am on my way out of the slump. I finally finished reading a book for the first time in about a month. I had started a few and finished none of them until now. I did complete reading Unbelievable by Sarah Shepard. It's the fourth book in the Pretty Little Liars series, so I have checked that off. And I am now finally getting back into my routine. I'm going through this whole life reset moment right now for this entire week so far, and it's just been going so well, and I feel so good and I feel so productive, and I feel like I'm gonna start with a new and better routine now that my life is getting back to normal, and I'm very excited about it. And part of that is getting back into reading and getting back into doing my reading vlogs that I had planned. And so I thought, what is the most exciting vlog for me to make right now? And it is another Throne of Glass reading vlog. I have been making vlogs for each of the books in the series as I've been reading it, and we have made it to Heir of Fire. This one is definitely the chunkiest in the series so far. I finished reading The Assassin's Blade before this, so I read the prequel after reading Crown of Midnight, the second book, and so this is the third book in the official series. I guess the prequel is technically part of it, but you know what I mean. This is book 3 of the present timeline of the series. So I'm going to be starting this. If you don't want any spoilers, this is not the video for you, okay? I'm reading the third book in a series. My reading vlog for the first book of the series is relatively spoiler-free. I do yap a lot, but not necessarily about the plot. But for the rest of the videos in this series, the vlogs I'm making, they are going to have spoilers, because otherwise these are going to be really boring vlogs, okay? And if you're here watching this video and you haven't read any of the Throne of Glass books and you're watching me read the third book, I'm kind of confused why you're here, but you do you make your choices, and I'm great. Happy, love that you're here. But just know, I'm going to be yapping about the details of this book. So, we left Crown of Midnight on quite the exciting premise. There's a big reveal about Celaena's identity and how she's secretly a princess, and she's being shipped off to another country. So that, I assume, is where this is going to be picked up. I don't remember all of the details of Crown of Midnight because I did read that a few months back now, but I feel I remember enough that I can jump into this, and after reading the first little bit, it'll all clue in, it'll all come back to me. Very Celine Dion. It's all coming back to me now. So I'm gonna start reading this book today. I'm very excited. The weather is great. I made a cake. I cleared out my pantry, and everything is feeling very clean and wonderful. So let's continue the wonderful vibes, hopefully. And I'll let you know some of my initial thoughts after I've read, I don't know, maybe 100 pages of this. We'll see. Okay, see you soon. Hello, I'm back, and I'm about to go to work. We're really, truly back into the routine. So I have now read 130 pages of Heir of Fire. Here we go. That's how far in I am. I have to say, it's only kind of just getting going now. It's not that I haven't been enjoying it before now, but it was just kind of doing a whole setup thing. And I feel now we're getting into some stuff. Okay, we have multiple POVs, which is not unexpected because Crown of Midnight did have Celaena, Dorian, and Chaol POVs. I still can't remember if Throne of Glass had multiple or if it was just Celaena, but I've just come to accept at this point that there's going to be multiple POVs, especially in this book now that our main characters are separated on different continents and countries, that you're going to need multiple POVs to know what's going on throughout the world for relevancy. However, there is also a POV that's from Manon, a witch, and I'm not vibing with that POV at all. I think it's partially because it's literally, who are you? Where did you come from? Why are we now suddenly reading from your point of view when from what I remember, this witch is not even an established character before. It's just all of a sudden now you're reading from Manon, and it's Manon who? Qui est Manon? So I'm not really enjoying that. I also think that right now with Celaena's character, we're kind of doing this one note characterization of her post-traumatic experience. Obviously at the end of Crown of Midnight, she went through a lot of trauma and grief, and she kind of cracked or whatever. And it seems like that's now completely manifesting into her just being like, I want to start a fight. I just need to feel pain. I need to be so sore that I don't have time to think about it. And it just feels like this one note characterization of like wanting or like needing violence. And I think when like Selena is that character, and then you move to this POV of Manon, the witch, where like she's a witch, so like her whole like species is, I don't know how to define the witches, but like, you know, they're separate from humans, they're separate from fae, and their entire like clan is just known for like violence and bloodthirstiness, and they're instinctively just want to eat humans or whatever. So I think when now you have like two POVs that are both giving this same kind of energy, it just like feels exhausting, and it also feels like they're too aligned, and I think Selena needs to be different from that. I'm hoping that now that we're into like a new training montage for Selena, that things are going to like get better for her, and we'll like move past this I'm just gonna provoke this guy until he punches me in the face thing, because that just got old really quickly for me, and I'm like, can we do something else here? So I think like we're going to move into Selena. She's like training to go meet the Fae to get questions about word keys. She's going to be like training her magic, and I assume kind of reclaiming her previous identity as the princess and blah 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 blah. And then as for like Kale, I don't even know what Kale's doing, okay? He's just like sitting around on his ass, and then like we're talking to him, and he's like, oh, is he gonna go back with his father? He's trying to avoid it. Like, I truly don't, I feel like there's nothing happening with Kale other than just being broody. There's, like, Selena's secret identity as the princess cousin, who's a general under the king now, is, like, visiting, and Kale's just, like, trying to find him at a bunch of parties. It really feels very disjointed from, like, Selena's doing, like, important things to progress a plot, and then Kale is just, like, there. Like, it's giving Barbie and Ken, but it's Selena and Kale. Dorian, I don't know, he's becoming buddies with a healer, who's another POV that we just suddenly have, is like this healer girl who apparently has like been here in the background the whole time, and like now she has a name and a face and a point of view. And he's also trying to like figure out his magic while also hiding his magic, I guess. It is what it is. I'll say, like, it's fun. The Throne of Glass books, you know, like, they read very quickly. They read fun. I just like to be more analytical about these things because that's what I enjoy doing. And I think that, like, so far, like, it could be going better for me. Right now, like, 130 pages in, I'm gonna give it, like, a 3, because I think Selena's POV is like the only one that's interesting and matters right now, which is funny because usually she's my least favorite person in the series. So like that's a turn of events for me, but I am going to keep reading, and you know, like there's still quite a lot of book left, so I'm hoping that now that like things are kind of going to get rolling, that the other POVs are going to get more interesting, they're going to make more sense, maybe things are going to come together instead of staying so separated. I'm going to find out. If you read the book, you know. If you're reading the book, you'll find out. I will let you know my thoughts when I have some thoughts. Okay? I have to go away. Bye. Why, hello there. I'm back. I have read more of Heir of Fire. I'm now like about halfway through. I have to say, like, it definitely is moving along. Like, things are getting better. The pace of events is enjoyable. I feel like the like stagnation of Selena has stopped. We're no longer just like chilling out in her total like anger, somebody punch me in the face era of living, which I'm happy to be past. Okay, so that's great. I will say I'm just not liking the Manon witch POV, and I think I've like pinpointed why. And it's because all of the other POVs we're getting, Kale, Dorian, Adian, Selena, Sorsha, even the healer, all of these POVs are interconnected, even if they're happening in like different parts of the world, right? Like Selena is in Wendelin and she's with Rowan the Fae, and she's like learning her Fae abilities, but she's thinking about Kale and what she's left behind, and her thoughts are like referencing that and those people. And then of course, like back in, what even is the place? I always forget where the R is in this word. Adderlin? And then like back in Adderlin, we have Kale, who of course is now buddying up with Adian, who is like a general. And then Kale and Adian both obviously know Dorian, who's the prince, who's having his like flirtation with the healer Sorsha. So then like all of that feels interconnected, and so then you're also like learning things about magic and the world and the history of how the magic left and blah 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 blah, you know. So when you're learning those things in all of those POVs, they still feel part of the same story because like they're all like kind of interconnected and they're like woven together through the character relationships. But then you just have Manon and the witches, and it's like literally, it's so disconnected from the rest of the story that it like feels separate. Like it feels like a secondary story that's just happening inside the Throne of Glass story. Like it feels just like bonus chapters or something in a weird way. Like it doesn't make any sense to me. I know, like realistically in my brain, I know that like the witches and the wyverns are gonna like have something to do obviously with the king. Like it's duh. And like they're gonna come into play later on or whatever, and it's all gonna come together, it's all gonna make sense, but in the present moment, I'm just like, ooh, yeah, I'm reading Throne of Glass, and then I'm like, oh, now I'm reading some random story about a witch, and I just don't like it. I don't like it. It doesn't make any sense to me, okay? It's weird. That's my thoughts. I wish that the witch POVs were not present right now because it just doesn't fit in, or at least I wish it was like better connected. Maybe then I wouldn't hate it so much. But like I really like, I get to a witch character, I get to like a witch POV chapter and I'm like, I think I want to put the book down. I find myself having to like power through the Manon POV, and it's a struggle. I'm struggling. I am, truly. But the rest of the book is like find Danny entertaining, gobbly 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 up, right? I do think that like, although it doesn't feel slow when I'm reading it, when I think about how I've read like 260-ish pages of this book, and I think about what has happened in those 260-ish pages, I'm like, wow, nothing. Almost nothing has happened in the first half of this book, even though it doesn't feel like, it feels like things are happening, but then when you like kind of zoom out and like big picture it, it's like, has anything happened though? Because what has happened is the witches, okay, have wyverns. Cool. Selena is angry and still basically has no control of her powers. Dorian, okay, he's just drinking a bunch of iron to suppress his abilities. That's all we got there so far. Kale is... yeah, like he's just being him. Okay, he's sneaking around. I guess like now he knows Adian and they're all buddy conspiratorially doing things or whatever. But like that doesn't seem like that much action to be happening. And I think it's because, right, like the story is being split up. We're in different parts of the world. And again, like you have like 3 different stories, 2 that are interconnected and then the frickin' witches. And that is like making the overall story slow down because you're having to bounce between all of these areas, right? And you don't want to miss what's happening too much between them. And you do bounce around a lot. I like that because I think like my biggest pet peeve with dual POV things is when you kind of like spend too much time in one and then you finally get to the other, you're like, I forgot what was happening over here. So I do like that we're switching POVs very frequently. That is helping with the reading and is helping with the memories, with the thoughts. Yes. So in a way, it's like I feel like I have a lot to say, but I also have like not a lot to say because kind of nothing has happened. But I am overall having a fun time. I don't know. It's Friday. My plan is to go full just like PJ in the middle of the evening mode and read for the rest of the evening. So like cozy right in, turn off my little noggin and just zoom through this book. Hopefully I just need to not look at a screen after, you know, like 5 days of work in the office. So that's what I'm gonna do. Let me get out of these clothes, take off this makeup, put on my pajamas. Ooh, maybe get like a little G&T moment. I see how things are coming together, and I'm going to go accomplish those. So I will see you at the next update. Okay, bye. Hello, I'm back here with Mr. Man himself, Benjamin. Just because I thought you might like to look at a cat while I give you this update on Heir of Fire. I now only have about like 150-ish pages left, I think, to this book. I feel like this book doesn't look as chonky as it is. Like, this is like almost a 600-page book. It's like just under 570 or something. So like, that's a lot of pages, but like, I don't know, it doesn't give like, wow, this is a chonky book kind of vibe. So I don't know where all those pages are, but they're in there somewhere. So I am now almost done. You want to like hold that or something? Can you? Oh, thank you. Perfect. So things have definitely like picked up and are getting exciting. I still am just like not a fan at all of the witch POV and storyline because it just feels so separate from like everything else that's happening in this book. Like, I just don't get it. I am confused. I'm confuddled. Je ne comprends pas, you know? So I know, like, logically, I know it's gonna come together, right? It's gonna make sense. It obviously has something to do with the overall plot of the series, but it just feels like, I don't know, like right now, just this doesn't feel like the place to introduce this because we've already now split the world and it's slowing down the plot of the other POVs, and the other POVs are so interconnected where the things you're learning while you're with Kale and Adian are linked to the things you're learning when you're with Selena and Rowan, and all of that is nice and works well. But then you just throw in these random witches who are just like, I don't know, at freaking magic wyvern school, basically, and it doesn't make any freaking sense to me. I don't get it, and I don't like it, and I don't want it to be here. I think it would be better if like the wyverns and the witches being under the king was just like a sudden reveal later on in the book, and then you like have this storyline as like an explanation after the reveal versus like just doing this weird wyvern school thing with the witch plot, and then I guess exposing that to the rest of the world and characters like later on. I don't like, obviously that everybody else is gonna find out about the wyverns eventually, and I just like don't like that it's like this weird thing that we as the reader know but like nobody else does, and it's just like so disconnected from the rest of the plot of the book. There has been like this like mystery element in Wendlin. I keep wanting to say Wendlin because it just feels more natural to put another vowel in that, but there's not. It's just Wendlin. Okay, my mouth don't like that. But there's been like a mystery element with these like demi-fae deaths and like what's been causing it that is like obviously linked to kind of like the magic that's been brewing evilly in Adarlan. I can't say the name of any of these places. Adarlan. None of these words feel good in my mouth. But you know, the king's been doing evil stuff. We've known that from the first two books. And so now like this mystery that like Selena and Rowan have been trying to solve is like clearly linked to that, and it's being exposed, and you're like, pieces are coming together. And I can see where like the plot for that POV and like that world is leading to right now, and that's like kind of getting exciting and like it's building up. However, I feel like overall this book has very little direction. Like, it's giving just character development, not even character development, more just like relationship development. Like, it's really just been a lot of like Selena and Rowan becoming friends, and then like Kale and Adian becoming friends, and then Dorian just, I don't know, he's just being Dorian and like falling in love with a healer, I guess. I don't know. So it feels like that's the main focus of this book. Like, I can't tell you where this is leading. Like, it seems like it's leading to some kind of big potential like battle attack kind of scene on the Selena Rowan side. But then when it comes to like Kale and Adian, what is happening there? I don't know. Kale is like being all like, I'm so honorable, I need to follow my honor. But it's like, dude, your honor is to like the literal worst people that exist. Like, please leave. What? So I guess like maybe we're just waiting him to have that revelation and like actually grow a spine. I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing over there, okay? And this is why I feel so weird about this book. It's like I'm reading it and I'm just like gobbling it up like I'm a freaking turkey, but I cannot tell you what is happening. Like, it's literally just like Selena training, learning magic, and like having this really weird dynamic with Rowan that I like can't explain, and I don't know why I feel icky about. I don't know what's going on there. Like, I don't know if this is me just reading into it from just like my knowledge of reading Sarah J. Maas ACOTAR romancy, where because there's just suddenly this like young woman main character who's badass, who is like getting to know this immortal fae man, that my brain is inventing this weird like tension, but it doesn't feel like their relationship is supposed to be romantic, but then it feels when you're reading it like there's this weird like romantic sexual tension thing happening, and I don't know how I feel about that, you know, like, because it's like that's weird. And it's not even like he's that beautiful. Like, he has like this tattoo that's all over, which doesn't make him not hot. He's like not like described by Selena as just being like this beautiful handsome fae man. Like, you know, he's like all like muscled warrior hot, but not like the way Sarah J. Maas describes her other fae male interests. Let's like put it there. So yeah, I really don't know what I'm talking about, but like I said, I feel like I don't know what this book is about. I like it, I'm reading it, I'm enjoying it, I want to pick it up again so I can read some more, but like, could I tell you the plot? Do I know where the plot is leading? Do I have any clue how this is going anywhere? No. And it's like a tad disappointing after reading Crown of Midnight. You get to the end of Crown of Midnight. Selena has just totally broken off everything with Kale after all of that craziness happened with his betrayal, and then she's being shipped off to this new country and land that we as the reader haven't heard anything about, and that's like super exciting. You're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen there? And then what happens is she just gets like dragged to the woods to learn about fire. That's what's happened. Like, that's the plot, I guess. And then meantime, evil magic is evil magicking. I don't know. I mean, I'm hoping that like things will become clear at the end of this book, because like I said before, it feels like a lot is happening, but then if I like zoom out and big picture it, I'm like, I don't think anything has happened in this book. I think I've read 415 pages of this book, and I don't really think that much has happened in it, weirdly enough. So I guess that's my thought. Singular. Just the one thought I have. That's it. But I will be finishing the book, and even though I have no idea if anything is happening, I am really liking it. Like, I think the witch plotline is really dragging it down for me, but I would still say like overall maybe I give it like a 4, just because I can, like, not right now, like right now, if I had to, like, if the book, like, this was the book, like, which that would be dumb because that's not how book plots work, but like if I put this book down right now and you're like, rate what you've read, I'd say maybe like 3.5, because like I said, it's been fun, but it's like literally what's happening. But I have like this sense that things are picking up and leading somewhere exciting, so I have hopes for this being a 4, which is very like on track with how I felt about the other books in the series, which is that like I'm like, I don't know about this, and then something at the end of it just grips me and I go, oh, get me the next one. So that's what I'm expecting to happen again here. We will find out, won't we? Benjamin, you falling asleep? You're supposed to be holding the book, dude. I will let you know when I finish the book and give you some final thoughts. But in the meantime, I guess we're about to have some more cozy weekend laziness. I have finished reading Heir of Fire. And guys, it has done the same thing now as all of the other books, where the ending saves it. And in a way, it's like, I'm glad. I'm going to give this a 4. Again, if there was no witch storyline in here, I'd probably give it a 4.5, honestly. But the witches dragged it down. I just like wasn't a fan of that. But I'll get into that in a second. I think the Throne of Glass series kind of has this ongoing issue-ish. I say issue just because like it seems to be a pattern that is occurring. However, I'm liking the books, so I don't know how much of like an issue I can say it is. But all of the books, Throne of Glass, Crown of Midnight, and Heir of Fire, not the Assassin's Blade because that's kind of like a whole separate thing. But the 3 books in the main books in the series that I've read all have this same pattern where like it feels like not much is happening, and then the ending is like bang, 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 reveal, reveal, exciting, exciting. Don't you want to read the next one? And I'm like, yes, I do want to read the next one. Oh my God, how did you guess? And so this one did the same thing, which, like I said, saved it, but now that is getting predictable. Like, I get to the end of the book and I'm like, well, I'm expecting something big. I'm expecting a reveal. I'm expecting something exciting that's gonna really like leave me on the edge of the cliff. I'm hanging and I want to get the next book. And so in a way, I feel like that can't be every book, right? Like, there gets to a point where that needs to deviate, or else the like reveal is predictable. Like, you just are waiting for that to happen. And so at the end of this book, I did feel like the ending was also a bit rushed for the Kale, Adian, Dorian side of things, just because obviously something had to happen, right? In each storyline. The witch storyline literally went nowhere. Like, it just did exactly what you thought it would do, and then it left off just still being completely separate from the rest of all of the other POVs in the world and the story. Like, it literally could have just not been there. I almost wish that I just skipped all of the pages about the witches. I feel like it makes no difference. There's nothing in the Manon POV that you learn that affects anything outside of the witches, okay? Because the thing that you learn where the witches are going at the end of this is like one of the places where you already learned is an important location in terms of the like magic that stopped magic storyline that's going on. So like, that's not even that big of a reveal. And then it's like, are we supposed to be like, oh, maybe the witches actually have hearts? Maybe Manon is gonna be a good witch? Maybe like years and years down the line? And like, I don't care about that. That doesn't matter. Had literally no effect. I thought that at least at the end of this book, like the witches and their wyverns were gonna like fly in, you know? And it was gonna be like this big reveal. Oh, there's wyverns. The witches, they're working for the king. And you don't even get that. That doesn't exist. They're still just secretly on their little wyverns just flying around, okay? What's up with that? Literally didn't need to be there. Could have put that in a different book, Sarah. Why was this in this book? I would love to know. Would love to know why this was included. Like I said, like logically, I'm sure it comes together, but this was not introduced well. It was not incorporated well. It felt unimportant the entire time I was reading it, and I didn't like it. And I feel like it was not linked enough to the rest of the things going on in the world, okay? And then I think the only like one that was like properly handled was the ending of the plot with Selena and Rowan, where they have like the big fight. Selena has a really big like turning point for her character, and then she achieves her goal of this book, which is like going to see Maeve, the Fae Queen, to ask questions, and then she frees Rowan and is now like off to continue her adventure, right? Which also in a way she's just leaving Rowan behind. So now I'm like, I assume he's coming back. Like, is he gonna just be a new POV doing his, like, what is he gonna do while she's gone? Love to know that. She's like, go back to Miss Ward and help all the demi-fae. But it's like, are we just gonna leave Rowan's character in limbo for like who knows how long until Selena gets back? Like, what's going on there? That's weird. I feel like the pacing of that and what was revealed during like those scenes made sense and were good, and you learned like certain things, pieces came together about these like Valg princes and how the king is like making them a little bit like it's still a little mysterious, but like you have like a general idea of it. So that was good. The witch one I already went through, hated it, every part of it, did not like. And then with the Dorian Kale Adian one, it felt like it just wasn't handled well. It felt like we went from, okay, we think we figured out how the king stopped magic, and we also think we know how we may be able to get it back, but then it just goes from like, we're gonna rebel, like we're gonna go away, to like all of a sudden it's like, oh, we're all called to the king's chamber, he found us out, panic, panic, boom, boom, boom. Where did that come from? Other than a singular letter that like was referenced like this one time where like Sorsha was writing a letter to her friend and Dorian walks in and it like makes her like mess up the letter with like ink or whatever, so she throws it out, and then it's like somebody who was like working for the king found it and it revealed that she was a rebel, blah blah blah. But like that's not enough enough for him to then like call in like everybody. Like it was just like too sudden, and it was like out of the blue, where it's like, oh no, the king found us out. And it's like, okay, cool, I like that as like, you know, where the plot's going. That's a big moment. That's a good climax to like get to. It reveals things, blah de da de da. But then the way we got there felt too quick, felt sudden, and it felt not properly like developed. There's a fire truck. So like now Sorsha's dead. Adian is in jail, being used as a pawn to get Selena to come back. Who's coming back as Selena, not Aelin. But not because of Adian. She doesn't know about that yet. She's just coming back because, like, she wants to stop the evil. Kale is, like, now run away and hiding with the rebels. And he brought Selena's dog. And Dorian's, like, revealed his magic and is now, like, gonna be controlled by the king. And, like, that was all exciting. I just feel like I said, I just felt like it came out of nowhere. I wish the setup to that scene was done better so that it felt more impactful and was less just like whiplash, like what the heck is going on here. But like overall that was exciting, and it did like reveal things, and now it's again, you're like, oh my god, what's gonna happen to Dorian, what's gonna happen to Adian, what's gonna happen to Selena, she's coming back, what's gonna happen to Kale, he's running away, he grew a spine, oh my god, congratulations Kale, you have an opinion. Wow. So yeah, like it's like, am I excited to read the next book? Yes. Am I giving this book a 4? Yes, because I had a good time, and the end of it just, you know, got me in again. Okay, caught me, and like I'm liking the series, but I also just like feel it could be done better, and I think that's my main thing. It's like this could have been better. Like this could have had more momentum. This could have felt like it had a more through line of a plot. This could have had a better setup to the climax. It could have been better. So like it's not a 5-star, and I kind of doubt at this point, if like this is how the Throne of Glass books are going, I kind of doubt any of them are going to be 5 stars for me. I don't think I'm gonna like absolutely adore any of these books, but I think overall like it's a really entertaining, fun series. And I would say like, yeah, if you're just looking for like a really fun fantasy series, like this is a fun fantasy series to read. It's easy to read, you know, the characters are like enjoyable overall. It can be quite funny at times, but like it also like isn't amazing. It's just not. So like those that's my thoughts and my feels. I would love to know what you thought of Heir of Fire if you've read it, and I would love to know how you feel about the witch POV, because like, am I alone in thinking that this was dumb and unnecessary? Maybe like after I read the rest of the series, I'll think differently. But like after just reading up to this point, I'm like, literally, why were you here? Makes no sense. So that's the vlog. If you happen to like this video, make sure to give it a like, give it a little thumbs up. Happen like me, consider subscribing. I'd be happy to have you. Like I said, let me know any of your thoughts on the Throne of Glass books. I would love to hear everybody else's opinions. And with that, I hope you're having a wonderful day today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.